like to welcome all our visitors and thank you for coming tonight. Do you have any public participation on the agenda, Mr. Fowler?
Nobody formally requested me to speak. However, I do believe Mr. Santola advises at least ask a question.
Do you have some questions for the board?
Yes, sir. Just one.
Give us your name, please.
J.R. Owens.
Okay.
I've had several individuals throughout the community asking me why, I'm not sure because I don't have any answers, as to when the recent position in Illiopolis came over for the new teacher, as to what date that was published on, and what publications that was made in. And I couldn't find it, but to be true, I didn't have a lot of time to look, so I just started asking the board when it was published and to what extent that position would become available.
I'll defer that question to Mr. Fowler since he's the one that took us through that process.
Thanks, sir.
I actually, this position came open about 2 days before it started the school year, I believe. Is that right, Ms. Hawkins? Started school on Wednesday, I believe on Monday. We found that there was going to be a need there. And what I did is I followed the contract. I posted the position with the teachers union on that day. So that's how it came about. Throughout the school year, we get various applications that come in. We're still getting applications for teaching positions. We had a very short turnaround time. This is something that we filled it probably not the ideal way because of the shortness of the time. But we were aware of at least one quality candidate. And we brought that person in, Mrs. Hawkins and I interviewed that person. Had that person not, had we felt that that was not the person for the position or we were uncomfortable, we would have then probably gone to another person. In this case, we were fortunate, we found a good person. I think she's going to do a good job this year, so we made that recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
We took that right down to the end because if it had gone the other way, and we hired that teacher in May, or June,
Sure.
and then we've had 10 less kids, then, that would have been a bad choice because we would spend all the money for one more section we didn't need.
Right.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Okay, consent agenda.
I have in your packet the consent agenda for the meeting. It has in it the minutes, the bills, cafeteria and treasurer's report. You'll notice that there are quite a few bills, as always is the case, in August and probably going to be in September because that's where the majority, the bulk of our teacher supplies come in. So we spend a lot of money paying those bills. Typically what happens is the teachers place the orders after July 1st and make sure that that takes place so that it's billed in the current fiscal year. Then we receive the items anywhere from the end of July to the first part of August, hopefully prior to the start of the school year. And then we have 30 days to pay those bills after we receive them. So what you're going to see is probably a lot of teacher supply items. That's going to be the biggest difference probably in this pack of bills.
Why don't you go ahead and explain, since we have a new person here who's interested in what we're doing, explain how we did the consent agenda and why, what we asked of all the board members prior to the
When I came here as superintendent some 6 years ago, the district did not utilize a consent agenda. A consent agenda is a way that a school board can take action on business in basically one motion to do 4 things. The board packets go out on Friday, and so our board members, and I know it might look to the public like these guys just get this information tonight, but they really don't. They get it. They go out on Friday, and depending on the mail service, either our members get them on Saturday or on Monday. And so I would hope that the board members examine what's in their packet prior to the board meeting. And then I take phone calls, sometimes from the different board members on something that is in that packet. So it might look like we're kind of rushing to a consent agenda. We're not. They've had a couple days to look at the mic. For example, Mr. Oakley called me today, and we had about a 15-minute discussion on the board packet, and we talked about that. And there can be other times, I know Mr. Sincola has called, Mr. Scott has called, about different things, and we talk about that prior to, so it clarifies it for them. Also, probably what the public doesn't know is I try to make a commitment to keep our board members as informed as I possibly can on the happenings of the school district. And one of the ways that I do that, I don't typically have a long superintendent's report at these board meetings, if you'll notice. What I do is each week, especially during the school year, is I send the board members a kind of a mini packet of things that's happening in the school district for the week or things that have come up. And so I try to keep them in the know as much as possible. So I'm pretty open about that. So I think we've got a good group of board members here that do stay informed of the issues of the district, and I try to share with them as much as I possibly can. I mean, there are things I'm sure that happens that maybe I don't know about, or I can't get word to them maybe before somebody asks them, but if it's something significant, they will know it. So that's kind of how we do business as a board, and how I do business as a superintendent. Because I do believe that it's important that our board members be kept informed, and that I believe all 7 board members need to have the same information. So if Mr. Oakley asks me for something, to answer that question, I not only give Mr. Oakley that answer, but I give the other 6 board members, so that everybody's on the same playing field. I think that's the fair way to do things, I think, for all people represented. So I guess that's my PR on how we do business.
And I just to take that a step further, I took some board training earlier this summer, and took up Bloomington. It was led by the president of the Atlanta School Board. It's a big district. They use a consent agenda. They took a show of hands. There were probably 50 people in that class. I'd say 40 of them use this format. So it's popular and it works as long as the board members. The old saying is, the worst sound you can hear is you tell a board member over his back for the first time on meeting. Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments on the consent agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve. Motion made by Kim, seconded by Mike Stahl. Call roll, please.
Kim Brown?
Yes.
Mike Stahl? Yes. Mike Gold?
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero?
Yes.
Diane Peters? Yes. Francis Bull?
Yes.
Linda Williams? Yes.
Superintendent's report.
I report that the school year is off and running, and we're into the school year. Our enrollment in our school district is down about 30 to 32 students probably this year, which is a bit of a concern. Anytime a school district loses folks, it's a bit of a concern. And this is kind of a weird situation, because overall our district lost 30 to 32 students, but the one big spot was at 4th grade. And it seemed like inevitably you could have 10 kids in every class, and you'll have one, and you're crowded, and that's where everybody that moves in has a kid in that class, which we're happy for moving. But we are down about 32 students, and so I'll be asking the board probably over the next couple months anyway to think about some different ways of delivering services to our students in a more cost-efficient manner, because we're to the point that we need to kind of reevaluate how we're delivering services, and to get the most out of the money that we have. Because as we're down 30 students, our ADA is going to drop. Our average daily attendance will drop. And as a result of that, our general state aid will drop, and we'll have less money to operate our school from the state, as long as we continue to have drops in enrollment. And so we have to be cautious. We have to balance the educational needs of the kids with financial needs of the school district if we're going to be a viable school district in the future. So I'll be asking the board, like I said, to think about a couple options and see where we want to go. That's basically what
I got 2 questions. What's our enrollment this year?
I believe it was 600 681 or something like that.
And my second question, when you talk about delivering our services and changes over the next few months, when do we plan on making this information public?
time, you guys want to discuss, and I'll give you guys a couple ideas. Not, I'm not married to any of them, but some ideas, and I want to tell you, one of the ideas that's in your packet is to have one section of each grade level in grades K through 5, to have K through 5 in Harristown and K through 5 in Illiopolis Elementary, and have one section. In order to accomplish that, we would need to shift Niantic kids to head over to Illiopolis to keep our numbers about what the state average is for classrooms. That's one idea. Another idea is an idea that Thad is promoting, and that is attendance center notion. And Thad, I'm going to let you maybe give your thoughts on that.
Well, the benefits that I see to the attendance center are, first of all,
Explain to them what it is.
the attendance center, the scenarios that we've been presented with are a K through 2, I
Yes.
believe, at Harristown. Then we would have a 3rd, 4th, and 5th at Illiopolis, and then it would flow right into the junior high. From an academic standpoint, I'm not an educator, but I believe that having teachers in the same building, teaching the same grade, there would be opportunities there for them to be able to work together better versus being, 5 miles apart. I think that I know at the 5th grade level, we've got 3 5th grade teachers. I know a lot of times those teachers will kind of pick the subjects they feel that they're stronger in, and they'll kind of swap around a little bit. I don't know if that's possible to do that at the lower levels or not, but I think that from an academic standpoint, there's got to be some pretty good benefits there. The financial standpoints, it looks to me like they're pretty similar to the same. I mean, I think there's $50,000, $45,000, $50,000 difference between the two plans. I think that another big benefit, in my own personal opinion, is I've seen a lot of I guess a better situation when my daughter reached 5th grade, as far as all the families, all the kids coming together. I mean, I just feel like that's done wonders for my child. I think that if we could get that done in kindergarten, instead of getting that done in 5th grade, I think that that would be an excellent opportunity for our school district. I think it would be a wonderful opportunity for our communities to finally have the opportunity to come together and not have this division that we seem to have between Harristown and Illiopolis. That's one thing that's upset me. As long as I've been on the school board, I've brought up several times or whatever that we need to change the names of the schools. Instead of having a Harristown Elementary and Illiopolis Elementary, we should have the same Valley East and the same Valley West. So those are things that have all been discussed in here at different times over the last 5 or 6 years, and I just feel that there's some huge benefits there potentially for our children if we keep the kids in the forefront and not worry about the parent that's upset because they're going to have to drive from Harristown to Illiopolis or Illiopolis to Harristown. I've got a daughter that's 3 years old right now, so I mean, we've got as big a dog to hunt in this as anybody. So those are kind of off the top of my head. So,
What kind of money, what the attendance centers are you going to save?
Because with the,
$45,000, I believe, according to our, when you're comparing apples to apples between the two. $45,000 more savings.
The attendance center, I believe, you've got some information there. I want to say that a rough estimate, the attendance center plan would save the district approximately $330,000 in a year.
Doing the attendance center plan?
The attendance center plan, because you would basically go from 18 elementary teachers to 12. The restructure plan with a K through 5 in each building, roughly you're looking to save about $275,000. And the difference being, whereas we're currently employing 18 elementary teachers, we would employ 13 under the K-5 plan. I think Thad and I have some agreements on this, and we have some disagreements on this. On paper, and I've spoken with Ms. Reed and Mrs. Hawkins, on paper, the attendance center plan is really a good plan. It's for the reasons that Thad has outlined, and I fully support those reasons. I think they're great. The question will be, I think, for us, is how will that be accepted by the community? How will it be accepted by the parents? I know that there are folks that might be upset. For example, a child that is in kindergarten and lives out on the west side of Illiopolis, getting on a bus and going to Harristown. Just like, my understanding is there are folks that are upset now that some of their Harristown fifth graders go to Illiopolis. How are they going to feel when their third graders go to Illiopolis? And so it's a very emotional argument now, but like I said, now Thad and I agree there are some educational benefits, but the question is then, how does the public respond to that?
Is there any way, before we even make any kind of decision, that, I know that this did not go over well in Meridian, I know it's not going over well in Taylorville, that administrators from different districts that have attendance centers can come to like a town hall meeting and maybe answer questions that the 7 of us have and that the communities have about this, so everybody can be informed.
And that might.
And that might be several months down the road because we're not even to the point of really.
That's probably something I'll look at this fall. I know one of the reservations that I have with it is I was one of the people on maybe at 10, and you were on there, and we told people that you keep your grades up. Keep your grades up.
The other thing to add is,
Well, the way they were basically structured.
I know that promise, and I've talked to Leonard about this or whatever, I know that promise was made 9 or 10 years ago, or however long ago it was. I'm sure at that point in time too, we also promised people that the kids would have more opportunities, we wouldn't be cutting curriculum, we'd have more, and we've done well, but we've had to make a lot of cuts here the last few years, unfortunately. If we do whatever route we decide to go, whether it be attendance centers or whether it is having a separate K through 5, part of that, Mr. Fowler's plan here that he set out both places was cutting title, reducing it by half, I believe, or whatever.
That's one option.
That was one option or whatever. I guess myself, right now, if we're going to cut 6 teachers or whatever, I don't necessarily want to cut title. Honestly, if we're going to be making cuts, I guess, and maybe it doesn't, I'm tired of making cuts. I would rather, if we're going to go together and reduce the number of teachers, I would also like to, maybe instead of reducing by 6, maybe reduce by 4 or 5, and bring back a classroom reduction or something along those lines, instead of I'm fine with getting our classrooms more to a normal size by the state standards, I guess, or whatever. 22 is where we need to be instead of having a couple of 15 and one of 28 or 30 or whatever. I'm fine with however we need to manage that situation or whatever, but at the same time, I feel like if we're going to make some cuts, it would be nice if we could maybe not cut quite as much, cut quite as many teachers, and possibly be able to say, yes, we're making some changes, but we're also hopefully going to be able to maybe offer a little bit more.
One of the things that I worked on is, and I don't know if or when we want to do this, but I'd certainly be interested in knowing in general the feelings of the community as I've developed a community survey that just simply asks the question, which plan would you most likely support the delivery of educational services to the children in the district? And spells out the attendance centers and the realignment plan, or keep things as they are. And this might be something as an initial gauge of what folks would think. I mean, it could be that there'll be 90% of the public say attendance centers is the best way to go. And if that's the case, then I feel good moving in that direction. But I certainly, and I know we have to protect the interest of the district, that's what we're trying to do, but, you know, if only 10% of the public supports either of these plans, it's going to be a tough sell without hard feelings then for us to pursue that in the face of the overwhelming majority of the public that says we don't want this to Sangamon Valley School District. So I think we have to, you know, kind of think about that.
Well, I think this would be a first step.
I do too.
Before we do
That's a good place to
anything else,
start.
this is perfect. And maybe an additional area for notes down here or something, and just taking it, reviewing it, and seeing where people stand, because it, you know, it is going to be something that affects a large percentage of children that are at the elementary school level. I mean, I think before we could bat around 500 ideas, but, I mean, at least get a feel first, and then even you
Right.
reason to sit here and,
Well, I do think we need to gauge what folks are thinking. And I thought what we could do is put this survey at the various schools to send home, especially with elementary children to their parents. Let them look at this and return it to the building. And we're not interested in names. If the folks don't want to put their name, that's fine. I'm interested in numbers. I'm interested in percentages. I'm interested to see, you know, what the balance is for folks in each of these three plans. And one plan is to do nothing, keep going as we're going. And if that's the will of the people, then, you know, then that's the will of the people. So I think that would be the fairest thing to do, and folks could then feel free to, like you said, they could even make comments that they want down here, you know, on their thoughts, and certainly take that into consideration. But, you know, if I get your blessing to do that, we can release this survey to folks and,
I got one problem with the survey.
okay?
You're only sending it to parents. There's 4,500 registered voters between roughly three communities. I would prefer to see one sent to every registered voter's house. You have a lot of people in this district who live on fixed incomes, and their taxes are coming here to educate each other. They should have a right.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Postage is going to be outrageous, I know that. But I do think it ought to be to every registered voter. They should have a say.
I agree that we need to get it to everybody, and I don't know, like I said, whether we send it out in a mailing, or if we just
Or put it in paper.
have it in the paper or something.
But not everybody gets
Not
a paper,
everybody
not
gets
all, I
paper.
mean, all the
That's
students
problematic.
get a paper, but not,
I just say, if we're going to take time to do the survey, I agree with Mike here, that just get a list of registered voters and send it to them. And whatever it costs us, but we'll have made the effort to get it to every person in the district that we possibly can. But the other part of this is that we need to keep an eye on it, have a number on exactly how many we send out and how many we get back. As in my experience with surveys over the years, as it pertains to schools, that you send out 100% of the people and you get 10% back. So what have you really accomplished? And people will not give an opinion up front only when you've made a decision. So just be aware of that too. That can happen.
Then how are you going to do it with the elementary kids? You're going to hand it to them, they're going to send it home to a registered voter. Are we just going to send it to everybody? You know, I'm trying to say, so now she does.
Need to send it home with kids
Okay.
and to all registered voters.
I think they just need to mail it.
but they're gonna get two per house.
You're going to get 2 per household, like, that's what I want.
Well,
That'll
and
get
mail it to all the
3
kids and to registered voters.
Just mail it to all the registered voters.
That's probably the thing.
but now not every parent's registered,
Not every registered voter's parents.
so.
So you're still gonna get parents. I mean, that's who it's really affecting.
You're gonna have to double up.
Yeah, just some people's gonna get two. That's just how it is. I'd rather people got two than somebody didn't get any at all.
And, you know,
Have the kid when we bring them home.
I was gonna say, you can put them in their report card. The little elementary kids, don't they have to turn in their envelope with their report card? They did it at Harristown, we used to have to sign the envelope. Yeah.
Have to say what I say November first.
hopefully.
December first.
I'd like to get this out as quickly as we can, efficiently as we can, so that if they come in, we need to have it.
So you know about us if it's a student or not?
No, just,
You can't really put names on them. You can probably, like, have a number.
okay, a number maybe, in my mind, and I hate to be such a deviant, I guess, I can make a copy of the survey and send you back 50 that say I want blah, blah, blah. So, you know what I'm saying? I
Have
don't
a
know.
number, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, they can be
That sounds
numbered.
good, but-
I think sometimes, I mean, sometimes I have a problem with anonymous letters and things. I don't take a lot of stock in that, but when you're doing a survey and you're asking folks, I think sometimes they're more apt to give their gut feeling if they don't feel like they're, gonna be out there, their name attached to one of these things.
I've seen that with the surveys, some years ago, first time I tried consolidation, where you could tell me something, set back, so one person who's adamant on something, person couldn't say so, but there's that. I'd entertain a motion that we have direct administration to work on this, and try to get it done in a timely manner. You made a motion,
I'll make,
Mike made a motion.
as in mailing or?
Find a way to do it, and they're not gonna get them out by the next board meeting, but we'll work on it. I'm just saying that we need to authorize them to go to work on this and see what the most efficient manner to get as many to as many people as we possibly can. And they can let us know what it is in the next board meeting and try to get them out as fast as possible.
We will try to get them out, we'll try to figure out the best way to do it.
If they're not getting this done next week, they get it done, I'd say by the end of October, they can get it done.
So it'll be something we would reconvene on next month and then we
Yeah.
send them out.
Kind of have a final say over what's brought to us.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have a motion to direct the administration to work on how to distribute surveys, or second. You made a motion. Second by Brett, so total roll, please.
Kim Brown,
Yes.
Mike Stowe,
Yes.
Mike Whitney,
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero,
Yes.
Pat Peters, yes, Brad Sisel.
Yes.
Any other old business? Okay. New business, approval of tentative 13-14 district budget.
I put together kind of a rough tentative budget. Usually this time of year, we don't have hard numbers, but I'm going to give you kind of what I'm guesstimating it to be. We've been fortunate the last couple of years, and the fact that our last budget has turned out better than the initial budget. I'm going to run out of luck one of these years, and it's going to be worse. But the way it is now, I'm predicting the ed fund to be about $283,000 deficit spending. The ed fund, the O&M fund, $80,540 in black. The transportation, about $586,000 in the black. And then we'll bring in about $40,510 in working cash. So those are your operating funds there. Of course, the fund of biggest concern is the ed fund. And again, we have to keep in mind that our general state aid is prorated about 11% this year. That's going to cost our school district about $203,000. So you can see kind of where that hurt us at 283. Now, we were fortunate this past year because I typically, and principals kind of kid me about this sometimes, I forecast gloom and doom in August and September, and usually in May and June, it's better than what I said in August and September. And I hope that trend continues. Like I said, I'm probably like a cat, and I might be on my 8th life in doing that. Because there's going to come a day that, I'm going to have to come back to you in May and June and say, I wish our budget was what it was in August and September. It depends on, how we catch some breaks with revenues, how we get revenues we didn't expect to have. Sometimes our expenses are less than what originally was forecasted. Sometimes it'll be more than originally forecasted. But At any rate, we need to have a budget in place. We're going to have it filed by September 30th. And I can do that, and it'll go on display starting tomorrow for 30 days. And then I'll come back to you in the September 25th board meeting and ask that you adopt the district budget.
Budget meeting prior to.
Yes, we'll have a budget hearing as part of that, and that's, I think, one of the items on the agenda.
Okay, need a motion to approve the tentative 2013-2014 district budget. Motion made by Stephanie, second by Kim. Call roll, please.
Kim Brown,
Yes.
Mike Stowe,
Yes.
Mike Oakley,
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero,
Yes.
Pat Peters, yes, Brett Sangamon,
Yes.
Larry Ellison.
Yes. Set hearing on the 13th budget.
And we usually do that as part of a regular board meeting in September. And that will be part of the regular board meeting in September 25th.
Need a motion to set a hearing on the 2013-2014 tentative school district budget as part of the regular board meeting on September 25th, 2013. Motion made by Kim, second by Mike Stahl. Call roll, please.
Kim Brown,
Yes.
Mike Stowe,
Yes.
Mike Oakley,
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero,
Yes.
Pat Peters, yes, Brett Sangamon,
Yes.
Larry Ellison.
Yes. Consider annual recognition of schools application.
That's something that I need you to authorize me to do. It's an annual thing that we do, and I have to submit it to the state board that basically says that our district is in compliance with the rules and regulations of the Illinois Code of Schools, and I'll ask for your approval to do that.
Need a motion to approve the annual recognition of schools application. Motion made by Stephanie, for second. Second by Kim. Call roll, please.
Kim Brown,
Yes.
Mike Stowe,
Yes.
Mike Oakley,
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero,
Yes.
Pat Peters, yes, Brett Sangamon,
Yes.
Larry Ellison.
Yes. Okay, weapons policy, second reading and adoption.
Last month, we looked at the weapons policy. That was researched and put together by the attorney and myself. And I would recommend that you go ahead and put a second reading and adopt this as part of our policy.
I had a question or comments on this.
I had some, the squirt guns, they're considered a weapon now. Yeah, well, I guess Stephanie explained that they look.
Well, I'd like a gun.
And the verbiage that you see in that first paragraph comes out of the school code and what their definition of a weapon is. So it comes right out of law, it comes right out of the Illinois Code of Schools.
You got any comments on that, Ron?
Squirt guns can be filled with caustic substances. Squirt guns can be used to make the Mentos and the foil bombs. That's why I can tell you everything we deal with in town, they don't allow it. And especially depending on some of them, they look like real weapons. They have the orange end on the end. The kids pull them off. They paint over them. So it's just something that could lead to a lot of problems down the road.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. Okay. Then, any other questions or comments? If not, be a motion to approve the second reading and adopt the district weapons policy.
So basically, you can't have anything on school property that looks like a weapon. Now, there are exceptions to this, right, this policy? Because like me and Stephanie was talking in our marching band, they have the rifle show. The rifles, obviously they're props, but they still look like a rifle. I mean, that's not going to be a problem.
They have rifles? I've never seen marching in years.
Yeah. It's like a wooden cutout of it. And they twirl it like a baton.
I wouldn't.
I mean, it'll be.
I think there has to be some reason, some common sense that has to come into play in the enforcement and interpretation of policy as well. Now, on the other hand, if they paint one of those wooden rifles black and go up to the crowd and start playing like it's a real gun, then we have a problem.
All they do is twirl it like a baton.
Yeah, I know, I came to the marching band and watched the show, I just want to make sure. You know, I've heard that the marching band, or like the seniors, I think had like a Nerf gun war one day at the school, you know, something fun or something. I heard a rumor about it, I could be wrong.
That was post-prom, that wasn't school activity, but it was on school grounds. All right.
And that's probably something too that we would need to make clear with those putting on post-prom, that they refer back to the weapon, because it does say, you know, on the grounds of school. So even though, you know, if we're having an activity over here, even if it's not a school-sponsored activity, you still can't have somebody come toting a gun on school property. I mean, it's still a violation, so even though it's not. But we need to make clear with folks that are using our property what that law is.
So for future,
For
we'll come
future,
on to it,
right.
and Halloween, the kids can
Right.
dress up as the sheriff and bring it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I mean, there again, I think.
You gotta have a little common sense.
Yeah, I think you have to use some common sense for what you're doing and how it's used.
Okay, go over, please. We have a motion. Yeah, that motion is second. Never had it. Okay, well, I'm gonna read it one more time. Need a motion to approve the second reading and adopt the district weapons policy. Motion made by Mike, is there a second? Second by Brett Santola. Call roll, please.
Kim Brown?
Yes.
Mike Stowe?
Yes.
Mike Oakley?
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero?
Yes.
Ted Peters, yes. Brad Santola?
Yes.
Larry Williams,
Yes.
I guess when I follow up with, before the meeting, I had questions. It's a federal law that you can't have weapons on school property, and our policy is not saying anything other than what the federal law says.
Yes, I think that's right. I think our policy is kind of a marriage of both federal and state laws, so
So it's nothing new to the community, nothing that any
No,
other school would be doing.
it's
just-
something that if we, you know, even if we didn't have that policy and somebody did something, we could contact law enforcement and under that either federal or state law, that we could seek prosecution.
And unfortunately, in this day and age, it's top bill in all the newspapers and, you know.
We've always had a weapons policy, but the health law is changing right now. Felt it was time.
Right, and it just kind of tightens it up on us to show that we, you know, we're doing it.
Use of videotape of board meeting policy, first reading.
I think last month we had talked about use of videotape during school board meetings. I think I submitted to you a sample policy that could be used. I kind of put together some wording out of the Code of Civil Procedure about that, the Open Meetings Act, kind of incorporated that into whether or not you guys want to do this. And I think last month we talked about possibly hiring a formal videographer to video the board meetings so that there's an official district copy of that. I researched, and you're talking probably either $100 to $200 per meeting, the cost that would be to videotape our board meetings. So I'll throw that open for you to decide.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I have issues, I don't have issues with anybody coming in here and videotaping us. I have issues with paying for somebody to come in here and videotape us. Money is tight enough as it is, and I think to pay somebody $100 to $200 to come in and tape this meeting is ridiculous. They have 3 choices to see how this meeting is run. They can come to a meeting, which there's very many people here. They can see it online, or they can read it in the paper. I think we've given them plenty of opportunity to be here and hear what's going on.
You mean read it online?
Yes. See the notes online.
With some,
Correct. I agree with that, I think paying for it, I agree, if we're going to do it, I don't care if we get videotaped, you can come to any open meeting that you want, so I think videotaping A is ridiculous for our size school. B, if we're going to do it, I don't think it should be at the cost of the district. But see, if we do it, we also have a main district copy that stays within the district. Whether we set a tripod up and put, a wireless mic up here that feeds to it or whatever has to be done. But I'm also against using any district funds to do it.
I can't see paying the money. It's ridiculous.
I agree with that. I agree. We'll, we can go over and approve this first reading, and then we can deal with it with actual vote on the second reading. That's okay with everybody. Okay. Need a motion to approve the first reading of the district board meeting video attendance policy. Motion made by Badger, second by Mike Stahl. Call roll, please.
Kim Bramble,
Sure.
Mike Stubbs,
Yes.
Mike Oakley,
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero,
Yes.
Matt Peters, yes, Brett Zoll,
Yes.
everybody.
Yes. Good. High school bass fishing program.
Right, last month you talked about the possibility of doing that, and I guess there would have to be a coach, an assistant coach. I think it was discussed on a volunteer basis in order to avoid cost to the school district. Again, I'm all for athletics and I'm all for extracurriculars, but I think you also have to be careful that you don't invest money in athletics over academics. So if there's a way to do it, it's not going to take away from the academic side of our school, and fine. The folks that are volunteer coaches would still need to have certification. They have to go to the background check and all of that. My understanding is you can have 2 students in a boat, so you have a coach and assistant coach. You have 2 boats, you have 4 students that can participate in at least part of the tournament. Now, I don't know how this operates. I don't know if you have 15 kids. If you go out for a while with these 4 and come back in and get 4 more and go out, and I don't know. That's up to the coaches to figure that out. So, but I think and I'll need to post this with the union, even though it's a volunteer position. But if you want to do that, I need to probably have a vote of the board to vote that in as a program.
What's the cost?
I think Mr. Doty had said, given the fact that you got volunteer coaches, you're probably looking at less than $1,000 probably for a season. And that was probably, I think like he said, that would go for entry fees, because he seemed to think folks would, either the students would have their own equipment, or maybe some folks would donate equipment. And then again, the biggest cost you're going to have probably, and I've never run a bass fishing program, so I don't know exactly what we're getting into. Naturally, personnel is a big cost, so as long as they do that for a 0, that helps out quite a bit.
How many kids do we have signed up?
I had 15 sign up and probably 12 or 13 legitimate.
What's a $1,000 cost for the basketball? What's the cost of like another sport to compare the two, the cost? I mean, like,
Well, I think,
co-op, boys, soft, baseball.
I think right now, the bass fishing would be very minimal compared to other sports, because, again, you're doing volunteer, you're doing a lot of them volunteer. So as far as a cost efficient, this would probably be one of the most cost efficient things that you could offer the kids. As long as there's an understanding that 2 years from now, there's not the question when we go to the bargaining table that we want $5,000 to be the bass coach. So as long as.
How would you get the kids to the lake?
That's-
Would you have to bus them in there?
Well, by rights, we bus our students, to other.
So then you'd have a bus driver and you'd have,
So there's a cost there that was not
Right.
factored in, and I can't tell you how much that'd be, because number one, we don't know how many tournaments there will be, we don't know where the tournaments are, so.
Can we table this until we get some more information as far as the busing and the cost?
is it just a spring sport?
Yes.
They do have some tournaments though, like fall.
Basically, they set them up themselves, and they just have a sectional in spring. That's basically what it is. And then like, you can do as many tournaments as you want. I think when Coach Doty did it over at Maroa, he did like 3 tournaments that he entered in, and then a sectional. When I talked to people at Athens, they did the same thing, so.
And they all bus their students, they weren't taken by parents or the coach or,
I'm pretty sure that's what they did. I can find that out for sure.
I guess it just, in these economic times, when you sit there and you talk about adding 1,000 over that, and then what are you gonna add with busing and that kind of thing, that's money that potentially could be spent towards.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd love to, I think it's nice that we've got people in the community that are interested. At the same time, we may very well be looking at some point, having to cut some athletics, so.
Well, if someone make a motion, we'll table this and figure out transportation. You know, if we can get as close to exact dollars as possible, maybe we can look at it again next time.
So,
Motion made by Stephanie, is there a second? Second by Michael. Roll, please.
Kim Bramble?
Yes.
Mike Stowe?
Yes.
Mike Oakley?
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero?
yes.
Matt Peters, yes. Francis Holt? Yes.
Okay. We're in closed session? Okay, we need a motion to enter closed session for the reasons stated on the agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Kim, second by Mike Stahl. Roll, please.
Kim Bramble?
Yes.
Mike Stowe?
Yes.
Mike Oakley?
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero?
Yes.
Matt Peters, yes. Francis Holt?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we're back in open session, and I would need a motion to accept the closed session minutes as read in closed session. Motion made by Kim, second by Brad. Call roll, please.
Kim Bramble?
Yes.
Mike Stowe?
Yes.
Mike Oakley?
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero?
Yes.
Matt Peters, yes. Francis Holt?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Need a motion to accept the resignation of Ken Barrett as custodian effective August 16th, 2015. Motion made by Stephanie, is there a second? Second by Pat. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to accept the resignation of Alona Bilbrey as custodian effective on August 5th, 2013. Motion made by Mike Stahl, is there a second? Second by Stephanie Guerrero. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to accept the resignation of Megan Walker as middle school teacher effective on August 6th, 2013. Motion made by Stephanie, is there a second? Second by Kim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we need a motion to employ Britton Higby as 6th, 8th time middle school language arts teacher.
So moved.
There's a motion made by that, second by Kim. Call roll, please.
Kim Bramble?
Yes.
Mike Stowe?
Yes.
Mike Oakley?
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero?
Yes.
Matt Peters, yes. Francis Holt?
Yes.
Yes. Need a motion to employ Britton Higby as 2/8. I said something wrong. Motion to employ Britton Higby as 2/8 time study hall supervised study monitor.
So moved.
Motion made by Stephanie, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kim. Call roll, please.
Kim Bramble?
Yes.
Mike Stowe?
Yes.
Mike Oakley?
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero?
Yes.
Matt Peters, yes. Francis Holt?
Yes.
Larry Williams, yes.
Need a motion to employ Jessica Guerrero as elementary teacher. Motion made by Mike Stahl, seconded by Kim Bramble. Call roll, please.
Kim Bramble?
Yes.
Mike Stowe?
Yes.
Mike Oakley?
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero?
Station, okay.
Matt Peters, yes. Francis Holt?
Abstain.
Larry Williams?
Yes. So we got 5 ayes, 2 abstentions, okay. Okay, we need a motion to employ Jessica Guerrero as freshman volleyball coach.
So moved.
Motion made by Ken, second by Mike Stahl. Call roll, please.
Kim Brown,
Yes.
Mike Stowe,
Yes.
Mike Oakley,
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero,
Abstain.
Pat Peters, yes. Brad Sanzola,
Yes.
Larry Williams, yes.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the list of bus drivers as presented by the superintendent.
So moved.
Motion made by Stephanie. Is there a second? Second by Thad. Call roll, please.
Kim Brown,
Yes.
Mike Stowe,
Yes.
Mike Oakley,
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero,
Yes.
Pat Peters, yes. Brad Sanzola,
Yes.
Larry Williams,
Yes. Need a motion to employ Brad Langloss as 5.5-hour custodian. Who's that? Motion made by Brad,
Second.
second by Stephanie. Call roll, please.
Kim Brown,
Yes.
Mike Stowe,
Yes.
Mike Oakley,
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero,
Yes.
Pat Peters, yes. Brad Sanzola,
Yes.
Larry Williams,
Yes. Need a motion to employ Ray Goodman as a 5.5-hour custodian.
so moved.
Motion made by Thad, is there a second? Second by Stephanie. Call roll, please.
Kim Brown,
Yes.
Mike Stowe,
Yes.
Mike Oakley,
Yes.
Stephanie Guerrero,
Yes.
Pat Peters, yes. Brad Sanzola,
Yes.
Larry Williams,
Yes. Okay, if you don't have any questions or comments, entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Made it.
Second.
Stephanie? Second?
Second.
Again, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.